Okay, hello and welcome to my basic After Effects tutorial. So I've opened up After Effects. I'm going to just squeeze After Effects down, get to my lesson files, which happen to be here. I want all of these apart from, actually I don't want all of them, I want those, that, no, don't want that, that, you won't have this problem. You just need to import everything in your lesson file folder. So I'm just going to drag the files in like so. Now what I need to do is I'm going to bring down my sky layer down into my composition window here. I'm going to rename this by control clicking on it. I'm going to rename. I'm going to call it final comp because I'm doing everything in one go. And now I want to bring down my Dairy Cow PSD. Just drag and drop it down. It needs to go above the sky layer so I can see it like that. If I dragged it below the sky layer, it would appear underneath and I wouldn't be able to see it. So dragging that back up to there. The first thing you're going to notice is that it's too big. So by clicking on this little triangle here and clicking on the triangle next to transform, I get to these properties here, and I'm going to click and drag on the yellow writing here, and I get to scale down my cow to a more appropriate level. Okay, now it's all looking a bit small on my screen, so over here I can click and I can say fit up to 100%, gives me a much better view, and that's about right size for my cow. That's ideal. What I want is my cow to go skywards, so I'm going to also click on the second value of rotation because this would be the number of times that the cow rotates, but I don't want the cow to rotate fully, just an angle. So I'm going to click and drag and go to something like that. Fantastic. I'm just going to click and drag the cow up a bit like that. Right. So what we're first off we're going to do is very basic principle, and the principle that drives most of After Effects work is that of keyframes. So having zoomed in, I now need to zoom out a little tiny bit. I'm at 88% there, so if I go to 50% just for a minute, I need to have some space around my actual work. So now that I've got some space around to be able to move things, this is my in time slider, if you like. This is my timeline, which is called composition. So we can see that my sky moves, but my cow doesn't. What I want is for my cow to basically do this. Come from off the screen, go up, and disappear off again. So in order to do that, I go back to the very beginning of my timeline, and I drag the cow off of the screen. There we are. We can see where the cow layer is, but we don't see it on the screen here. I then go and click the stopwatch by my position variable, and I will get a gold diamond here. That means I've enabled keyframes. I now simply go forward in time, the approximate length I would like for the cow to take to go up and off the screen. So over here I've got a time unit measure here, so that's on 5 seconds. That will do nicely. I don't click on the stopwatch again, I simply move the cow to the position where I want to be at 5 seconds. And now if I rewind my line, press the space bar, we'll see there it goes. The cow is going up. Now the space bar doesn't give me a real-time preview of what's going on. In order to do that, I need to go to the beginning of the part that I want to view and press B on the keyboard. B for Bravo. I then go to just after the part that I want to view, which would be about here, and press N right next to the B, N for end, on the keyboard. And my work area will cover the required part that I'm going to view. I can then press either 0 on the numerical keypad of the keyboard or press this RAM preview button. If I do that, we see that my work plays in real time and it will loop play, so I get a good idea of what's going on. There may be a short delay first time you do it while this green bar goes across, and then it will loop play at real speed. Fine, so that's all looking very good. I'm going to press the space bar to stop. And what I want to do now is add an extra effect. So we're going to cover a more advanced feature now of keying something out. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down my flame JPEG and put it in between the cow and the sky. And I'm actually going to turn the visibility of my cow off by clicking on that little eye. And of my sky off, although we won't see the sky because the flame is covering it at the minute. And I'm going to shrink down the scale by clicking on the arrow there and the arrow by transform and dragging the scale property down so that I can see, so that it's basically kind of fitting on my screen. Okay, I'm now going to choose my magnifying glass and zoom in. And now with the magnifying glass selected, what I can also do is press the space bar and move it around. And that works with any tool selected. Pressing the space bar allows you to move around your work so you can see what's going on. So what I actually want is this part here, the flame. So what I'm going to go and do now is cut that out by using a mask tool. So make sure your flame layer is selected, select the pen tool, and then just very carefully click every time you click, the line will be drawn a bit further. So I'm just clicking my line around here. Don't worry if you get a bit of the blue because we're going to key that out. So yeah, it's just really the flame I want. So I'm just going to click around this bit here. Keep clicking. If you click and drag, you have the ability to draw curves. So you may wish to try and explore that if you want to. If you single click, you'll get a straight line, which will be good enough for now. And you'll see that when I get back to my start point, my pen nib appears again and I get a little circle, which means I'm going to close the path and I will get my flame cut out here. Now we need to deal with the blue around the flame. Incidentally, first off, the black is showing up because that's my background colour. I can click on this transparent grid here and it will show up as show me what's transparent. I'm going to leave it on the black for now because it's easy to see what's going on. And I need to put a keying effect on here now. So over in the effects palette here, I'm going to click in here and type KEY for keying, and Keylight 1.2 is the particular effect that I'm going to use now. I click and drag that onto my clip, and then simply over here where it says screen color and my little pipette color picker, click on that, go over to the blue, click on it, and I get rid of my blue. It's that simple. I can now click back on my project tab and everything is as is. Now will be a really good time to save our work, so I'm going to go to File and Save and name my work Pete's Dry. Choose where I'm going to save it, that's fine. and then just click save. Righty-ho. Now we've got that keyed out, I can turn on the visibility of my cow layer. I can turn on the visibility of my sky layer, and from here my view I can go fit up to 100%. So you can see that I've got my flames here. So clearly it has to be that the flames are coming out the cow's bottom. How else would it get up into space? So I'm simply going to click and drag and position the flames where they need to be, like so. If we want to make the flames a little bit bigger, it's just going to scale and dragging up the scale and then repositioning it like so. So the mask is cutting out the rest of the layer, and the keying is cutting through. So masking and keying are the two ways in which you can get rid of a background or something. Okay. Now clearly we've got a little bit of a problem here because the flame doesn't follow the cow. Now we could go ahead and keyframe the flame. There's an even easier way of doing this. So all I need to do is match up the flame to the cow. And then twiddle up these little triangles a minute so you can see what's going on. The flame needs to be parented to the cow in order to move with the cow. So you can see this parent column here. I'm going to click on this pick whip, as it's called, of the flame, and make the cow the parent of the flame. So now as I move my cow, sure enough, the flame will follow. Right, things are shaping up nicely. What I have to do now is we want the cow and the flame to completely go off the top of our work. So possibly the easiest way to do it would be to put more keyframes in, but we can jump to the end keyframe, just reposition the positioning. So the cow's the layer that's got the keyframes in it. I'm going to press U on the keyboard, uniform, and when I do that it shows me any keyframes that are put onto that layer. Now if I click over here on this jump to next keyframe, I will get to the end keyframe. I need to zoom out a bit back to my 50%, and now if I just drag the position further up, I've modified the end point to there. Now when I go back and press my 0 key on the keyboard or press this button up here, you'll see that the green bar is going across, not playing very smoothly, but now the green bar has gone across, it'll play nice and smoothly, and you can see that our cow and our flame disappears right off the top of the screen, which is exactly what we wanted. Hurrah!